Hi, a few of you might know my face, but I am Luke. I'm one of the account managers here at TribePad here to take you through some of the agenda for today, both with my colleagues Sam Simpson-Oldale and Sally Burdett. Just to run through a quick agenda, we will be doing some product demonstrations for some of the new features coming up. We will be telling you how those features will be rolled out onto your applicant tracking systems. Then we will be doing a Q&A at the end for any questions that you might have. Now, in terms of some of the new features that we'll be running through today for you, so there is the multi-location allowing you to publish more than one location along with your jobs. There are some updates to job requisitions and some of the field visibilities there. We have a new shiny layout for date gap to be updating you with as part of the application process. There has been some changes to reference downloads as well with it onboarding, and then a shiny new campaign editor for the CRM system. So we'll be taking you through all of them. So I will hand over to my colleague Sally, who has been preparing the demo for you all.
Cool. Thank you very much. Oh, I think you may need to stop sharing.
Yeah.
Lovely. There we go. Perfect. Yes, as Luke says, we are going to go through some new features today. So first one I want to take you through is our multi-location feature. Now, excuse me. So this can be added onto a job template. It can be added onto your existing jobs, or it can be added onto brand new jobs as well. So any of the three. So if I go into this top role here, we're just going to edit a role just for ease for this session. And we're going to scroll down ever so slightly. So we can see we've got our location little section here. And typically the map that will link on your job advert, sorry. There we go. So typically the map that links through on your job advert links through from whatever location and postcode you've put in at this little stage. What you've been telling us is that you would like the ability for jobs to be linked to different locations. So you might have a regional manager that works across different sites. You might have the same job that can work on different sites, all that kind of thing. So we've now added this function here. So essentially, all you do is click the button, add a secondary location. So you might put in Sheffield in there, and you can pop in a postcode. I'm just making something up here. It doesn't just have to be one. You can add as many as you like. So we might have Manchester in there as well. That'll do. One minute. There we go. And as I say, you can have as many as you like in there. Sorry, this frog in my throat is annoying. There we go. When you're adding in multiple locations, just something to just something to bear in mind is that the map that links through to your advert will only link through to this initial postcode. So if we show the map here on our advert, it's only going to link to this initial one that you put in. If you want your secondary location to show that map, you're going to need to change that initial postcode in there. But essentially, all you do once you've added that in there, you're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to save that. If it wants to play. There we go, good. I thought it was going to crash on me then. So we're now obviously back on our jobs list, and we can see that this role here is now showing multiple roles. So we can hover over it there. And it also shows it on a candidate side as well. So just to show you what that looks like, if we go to our preview, it takes us through to our job page, and we can see we've got our initial location and postcode showing there. So we've got our Leeds map there, but we've got our second and third locations now showing in as well. If we go to our jobs page as well, so yes, on our jobs page, you can also search for different locations as well. So if I search for Sheffield, and we'll just change the visibility, we can see that any jobs linking to Sheffield are coming through, and we've got something like that. The support worker's got multiple roles on there, talent acquisition specialist, again, Sheffield, Leeds and Manchester. So they're all coming through and pulling multiple locations in as a candidate. So there you go. So that's the first one. The next thing we're going to look at is job requisition updates. So the first one, really, really simple. We have moved the add a job requisition above add a new job in the jobs list, jobs menu, sorry. Just to bring it into chronological time order, makes a little bit more logical sense because a job requisition generally comes before a job is added into the system. So we've just moved the order of those in the menu. The next thing we've done, there are a few bits and pieces relating to job requisition, is we've added the ability for an address to be used as part of your hierarchy to pull through automatically into your job requisitions. So there will be some of you that are using hierarchy. You kind of know what it involves, and different levels of your hierarchy link through to different users and show different information. If I just choose a template here, and we're going to choose a certain level of the hierarchy just to show you what it means. If I pick this level of the hierarchy, I know that I've got an address pulled kind of detailed in the background of that hierarchy. And if we scroll down, we can see that has now been pulled through as part of the job requisition. So it's just an automatic field that's being populated for you. So that's that one, nice and simple. Our next one relates to your job requisition templates. And this is something you guys have been asking us for a little while. This did go live a few weeks ago, so you might have noticed this as you've been playing around, but you might not. That's totally fine. But if I go into this top one, so this applies to existing job requisition templates or brand new ones. It doesn't kind of make any difference. What we've given you is the ability for just your required fields to be shown when making a requisition. So previously, you can choose the different mandatory fields for your hiring managers or whoever to fill in, but these optional ones would still be shown. What you can do now, if you want to, is if you toggle this bottom one on, it's only going to show those required fields when making that requisition. So only just show these kind of few that we selected. So if I just update that one, and if I go to create a job requisition off the back of that template, we can see that only those few things that we selected beforehand are now being shown to your hiring managers. So hopefully that should make it a little bit easier for you to take away the bits and pieces that aren't relevant. So there you go. Our last part of job requisition is we have removed the create button from hiring managers and specific user types that don't necessarily need to create a job off the back of that job requisition. So just to show you what I'm talking about, we'll go back to our jobs list. And we can see that if we go to requisition approved, we've got, I'm logged in as a super user right now, so I can see all the different requisitions that are in there. If I went to a residential support worker, we can see that that's been approved. So there's nothing further that we need to do on that requisition, but right at the bottom, we've got the option to create a job. What we've done now is we've removed that from a hiring manager view. So if I just go onto a hiring manager role, we can see we've got that residential support worker, same role that we were looking at. If I click into it, again, we obviously can't do anything, but we have removed that create job button. So hopefully your hiring managers are no longer going to get confused and try clicking buttons and find out nothing works. So there you go. So that's our job requisition updates. Moving on then, I've got a nice long list of things to do. We've got our date gap updates. So these are not in relation to the onboarding side of date gap. So I know a lot of you will use date gap as part of your onboarding packages. This is part of the application process. So if I go again to my jobs list, and I'm going to go through a job. So again, this could be added into a job template. You can be added onto an existing job or as a brand new job as well. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to edit this job over here. Okay, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to go to our, where are we? There we go, our application flow. So if we expand this, as I say, you can do this on a job template as well. We're going to scroll down and we can see we've got a new bit of functionality in there. So previously, the date gap functionality as part of the application process was pretty basic. People could ask for references for a certain time period, but not from a life event. Quite a few of you have told us that that is something that is really key in your organizations and in your industries. So obviously we've made that happen now. So you don't have to do all three of these date gap functions, but you've obviously now got the option to. So for education and employment history, you can now choose that your candidate provides it for a set number of years, so 10 years, for example, or, as I say, if you want to do it from a specific life event, so from leaving secondary education, for example, if I can spell, there we go. So the candidate will be prompted to provide all of that information from that specific life event. What you can also do is you can allow time gaps. So we know that candidates might take a little break between roles. It might be just a weekend. It might be a couple of weeks. They go on holiday, whatever it is, in between roles. So if you're okay with that, what you can now do is you can set a certain number of days that can be overlooked. So they don't have to be filled in as part of that date gap history. So you're not just looking for a specific day or anything like that. So if you wanted to, you could pop in 30 days in there. You might want 14, depending on what your organisation wants to do. And what the system will then do is it will allow the candidate to have a time period in between roles, for example, that they don't have to account for. Obviously, if you don't want to do that and you still want to account for every day, just don't use it, that option. You can kind of leave that one unticked. Further down then, we've got reference history. So again, this was very prescriptive. So it was sort of 3, 5, 7 or 10 years, I think, that we could do. But it also didn't ask how many references you wanted the candidate to provide. So again, we can kind of pop in a set number of years if we want, or we can do for a set number of referees. So you can pop in 2, for example, in there. Totally up to you, whatever you want to do. You can't use both, so it can't be 2 references covering a period of 10 years. It would just be kind of for a certain number or a set period. Then finally, your last one is your residential history. So again, previously that's been kind of incorporated into the education history and things, and it's either provide it or not. But now you can choose what it is that you're wanting to see. So again, are we looking for a set number of years, for example, or are you quite happy just seeing the candidate's current address only? I'll pop it on for a set number of years just to show you what it's going to look like. So we've got from a set event, from a life event, I'll pop in some time, a time gap in there, number of references, and for a set time. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to save that at the bottom. And I just want to show you what it looks like from a candidate point of view as well. So if I go over here, well, it's gone cold, lovely. So I've got a candidate here. Here's one I made earlier. And we can see that that candidate is incomplete in this role. So because we've made those amendments on that job, and because I was sitting as incomplete, I can those changes will be pushed forward to me as a candidate. So I'm going to continue my application here. We're going to go through our profile builder. All that information is included. That's fine. I'm going to click continue. Okay, so we've now got a date gap little section in here. So education and employment. Obviously, this is kind of what we stated in the system. We wanted candidate to provide history since from leaving secondary education. Obviously, we might need to change that wording ever so slightly, but you can obviously put in whatever you need to in the system. And there we go. We can allow gaps of 14 days between history. So please set your date of from leaving secondary education. So let's make it kind of easy for ourselves. We'll just do it a few years ago, and we'll just say from the 2nd of October. So we're going to confirm the date. Okay. So if a candidate has already updated uploaded a CV as part of their profile, or if they are in the process of doing so, the system will recognise those dates, look at all the dates and bits and pieces there. But we can see that the system has noted we're still requiring history from that period. So from the 3rd of October through to the 1st of October today. So to add history, we're just going to scroll to the bottom. We're going to click that button. And it lets the candidate choose what kind of history they're going to add. So for this one, we'll just kind of pop in an employment history. They all change ever so slightly, but you'll kind of get the general idea. So we're providing a history for this period of time. So we can say if it's our current employer. So obviously we don't have to kind of put an end date in there, and we can state what date it is. So we're going to go with the 3rd of October just because that's the period that we need to cover. I'm just going to put TribePad in here for now, and we can pop in details in there. I can never remember our postcode, so I'm just making it up. There we go. We can put all our information in there. We can pop some job description in there if you want to. Obviously, you can see that's not a mandatory field. Oops. So the candidate doesn't necessarily have to complete that information. Can pop in the salary, whatever it is. Oh, yeah, I mean, let's go with that. We would all like that salary, wouldn't we? And then we can obviously put in the relevant information. So I'm just going to put in a load of nonsense here. There we go. There we go. And we can say if we're happy for the customers to contact this person regarding my application. We can pop in a reason for leaving. So I prefer not to say, whatever it is, and we can save that history. Obviously, if we've got multiple different employment histories or anything that we need to include, we can just save and add some more to cover different time periods. But if we save that history, there we go. We can see we've successfully completed this section because we've covered that specific time period that we detailed before. So once we're happy, we're going to confirm and continue to residential history. So as I say, you don't have to have all the bits and pieces of the date gap included as part of the application history. It's whatever works for you guys. So we stated that we needed for a certain time period, so for 5 years. We can see that this is the address that I previously put in as part of my profile, and the system will automatically guess that you've been there for a certain period of time. But what you can do is you can go in and edit it. We can say this is my current address from whatever date it was. We'll kind of take you back a little bit further. There we go. And you can obviously put in the relevant information. Once again, we're going to save that history. And again, it's now recognized that we've ticked all those boxes. We've completed it for the relevant time period. So again, we'll confirm. We'll continue to the next section. So the last little bit is our references. So as we can see, we need to provide 2 references. This is what we kind of stated in the system before. So we're going to add our history here. So again, candidate has that choice. They can choose whatever kind of reference they're going to provide. So we'll go for an employment reference. Let's say it's from a few years ago. We'll go from there to whenever it is. And I'm just going to put in a load of nonsense just for this period. But obviously your candidates will be putting in more information here. So can this referee be contacted as part of this application? Sure, why not? But we're going to save and add in another referee. Now, just a reminder, this doesn't link through to your onboarding references. So taking this information from a candidate at this stage holds it against their profile, but it's not going to trigger out any references from the system. So yes, the candidate can state that they want to be contacted or they want this person to be contacted, but it's still up to you to manually go in and trigger that reference out for people. So that would be by email or whatever it is that you want to do. This is all being obtained as part of your application process. If you wanted it as part of the onboarding package and your references to be triggered out automatically, sent to your referees, you need to do it through the onboarding process. At the moment, there isn't a link between those 2 sections. I believe that might come in the future, but watch this space. So we'll save that. We'll add in another reference. So if I just come off that one second, you can see, please provide 1 more reference. Obviously, it's recognizing we've only got 1. So we'll just add in a personal one for now. Have I known them all my life? Sure, why not? And I'm not actually going to put in my proper date of birth because then you'll all know how old I am. I'm just going to pretend I'm younger than I actually am. Again, something.com, whatever. There we go. Relationship, how long, blah, blah, blah. Oh, The last one you have to do in years, so 20 years, for example. And again, can we be contacted? Oh, sorry, wrong one. So what date, essentially, not how many years. So 1900, no, I've not quite known them since then. There we go. So from 2000, we'll say. Can they be contacted as part of the application? Sure. We're going to save that referee. And there we go. So again, we've put those 2 references in. We've successfully completed that section. And we can confirm everything there. Oops. There we go. We can go through and fully submit our application. And we're good to go. So if I go back onto our side of things, I'm just going to refresh everything there, just to show you where that information is now stored on a candidate's profile. So there we go. We've got Danny, who's just completed all that information. And all you need to do is go into their profile by clicking on their name. And we can scroll down a little bit. So if we've asked for residential history, we can see here under the address bit. We can view that residential history. So you might have multiple addresses detailed there by the candidate. And further down, we've also got our references that are included in there as well. So as I say, this isn't information that's triggered out from the system. You would need to request that reference from the relevant person whenever you want to do that. The final bit that it would be included is the career history and education history. So if we've included that, that will be up here. There we go. So career history is shown there. So all the relevant information that we've just provided. And then obviously anything that's pulled through from the candidate's CV will be shown there as well. So there you go. So that is your date gap information there. The next thing, just to show you, is we've now included the ability to include references in your download policies as part of onboarding. So this is part of the onboarding package. As you may or may not know, as part of an onboarding package, you can trigger out references. They go through to a referee. Referee fills them in. They come back into the system. Previously, the download policies that you can set, so you can choose what is downloaded as part of your candidate package, if you like, or candidate pack to save in personnel files. The download settings didn't allow you to include reference details, so whatever the referee has completed. We've now fixed that, and in your download settings, you can create download policies and choose what it is that you want to download. So if I just go into this professional references one that we created, all you need to make sure that you're selecting is the workflow reference check. And that will make sure that all the reference information is included in that download policy and generated as a download. So just to show you what it looks like, again, got a candidate here who I prepared earlier, I hope. There we go, Harry Davis. So we've got on our download section, we've got our download policies detailed there. And if we click on the professional references, here's hoping my system's not broken on me since last night, since I did this. We can open up our download. There we go, perfect. So we can see the reference, so we can see who the reference went out to, and the referee workflow is who has assigned it, who's answered it. So there we go. So we've got who it was assigned to, and you've also got completed details there as well. So you've got a date and timestamp there, and you can see what answer they have given to your referee questionnaire. Obviously, we've just got a very basic one. You will probably have something a lot more involved. There we go. And you've got all that information there. So you've got your date, your time, and the person who has provided that reference, all now provided as part of your download policies. So there you go. So that's that one. Okay, so our final big feature to show you relates to our campaigns feature. Now, I'm not going to go through the campaigns process too much here. Some of you, if you're interested in campaigns, please reach out to your account manager. We can kind of talk you through that. We can do a bit of a demo for you, see if it might be of interest to you. But campaigns is a paid feature. And essentially what you can do is you can create a landing page where you can attract candidates to and then kind of get them to apply for jobs, log into the system, search for different jobs, various different uses. But what we had was a bit of a clunky bit of a rubbish editor when you were creating your landing pages. So what we've done now is we've given you a new editor to make it nice and shiny and allow you to make your landing pages look exactly like you want them to. So previously the old one had like a big white margin round and it was okay. It wasn't brilliant. Now you can do whatever you want. So you can kind of make images fill the whole screen, bring it completely up to your branding standards, whatever you want. So within campaigns, you can create as many campaigns as you like. So obviously we've got a few kind of showing here. If I go into this one here, we can create a new landing page. Okay, so when you're creating your landing page, as I say, I'm not going to go too much into this, but if it's something you're interested in, let us know. So I'm just going to call this Sally Test just for the time being. But within campaigns, you can give your campaign a goal. So you can choose what you want to achieve from it. So do you want to get people to log in, register? Do you want them to apply for a specific role? In which case you can choose that specific role to apply for. Or do you want them to apply for a variety of roles? So you can add in keywords, tags, things like that. The main difference though that has changed is this little section down here. So if you're currently using campaigns with us, Froala is our old one. That's what you're used to. So we've given you the option to keep going with that if you want to. So if you want to kind of maintain the consistency from your pre-existing campaigns, you can do. However, if you toggle this on, you'll see that it turns to content box and it creates something brand new for you. So this is our new editor that's been brought through. Let me just check I have filled out everything. Yeah, we're good to go. So if we save and continue, hopefully it's going to take me through to the new place. There we go, perfect. So yeah, as I say, for those people using campaigns, this will look a little bit different now. But you can add in lots of different things. So you can add in different types of slides. So we might want to add that in there. Obviously, you've got kind of a default one that's added in. But you can add in extra bits and pieces. You can also add in a nav bar. So that goes at the top. So you can kind of control the look and feel of it. You can add a home page. And all of these bits are completely editable. So you can click on the bits and pieces. You can pop in your logo text. You can pop in logo link. Add in logos, links, and things like that there. You can also add in your Twitter pages, Facebook pages behind these landing pages. So it's a lot nicer functionality, and you can do loads of bits and pieces with it. Again, all of these sections are completely customizable, so you can change these stock images. You can what else have we got over here? You can change the height, the content, the image, the animation, the spacing, literally anything you like. Much more customizable, much more editable. Which one is it over here? Yes, over here you can change your typography style, so your fonts. It doesn't allow you to upload a custom font for your brand, unfortunately, but there are loads to pick from there. So hopefully you will find something that's pretty similar to what you're using. You can animate, so you can do, oops, what's going on here? There we go, get rid of that one. So you can animate your slides and things as you like. You can preview them, you can do all sorts of stuff. As I say, I'm not going to go too much into that. It's up to you guys to have a little play around, but you can obviously create and do whatever you need to do on that editor. So there we go. So those are our main features that we've been going through. Is it worth stopping for a Q&A right now, or shall I keep going with the enhancements and do stuff later on?
There have been a few questions come in, so I have answered a few of them. So a couple around the multiple job locations. So the first one on here was, do the candidates get grouped on the job so that you can tell where they've applied for, essentially?
Do they get grouped up?
I'll pick that one up. No. So this is just the ability to say you've got 3 officers, the role could be anywhere, lets them apply. So any other detail would need to go in the job advert. It won't say which one they've applied to, because basically it's just a single job. And not if there were difficult for me to explain. Yeah, so if it could be any of the 3, then it would need to be a question or something like that in pre-screen as to which office they prefer to work in. Presuming you've got 3, there's no way to actually say, I want this particular location. It's just ability to post a role in multiple locations that's available in searches and filters and things like that, rather than having to have it just in the text.
And then the second one was just around how they pull through to external job boards.
They don't. And this is not a TriPad. This is because most of the job boards that we work with will not accept multiple locations. So if you are using the job boards, you're relying on those quite heavily, I would suggest put in the potential locations in the advert, and then, as I say, have a pre-screening question. So we can't send them to job boards. Things like Indeed will not accept as sending those multiple locations through an API. They might allow you to post in multiple locations, but not using the automated feed and thing that we have.
So I think that was everything on the multiple locations. There was a few on the referencing as part of date gap, which I've answered in the chat. So essentially the application process date gap is completely separate. The references are completely separate to onboarding. So they're not linked in any way, just to clarify on that. And then with regards to the upload feature within the reference collection, does it download the attachment? I think that is something that we will have to test and come back to you on. Just in terms of the costing, so all of the features here that we're demonstrating are free of charge features for both Pro and Grow customers, with the exception of the CRM campaign. So that is an additional module of the Pro system. For anyone that does already have that module, it will be free of charge for the updated page editor. And then there is a second one on whether the campaign landing pages meet WCAG guidelines for accessibility. I'm not sure on that one. Do you have an answer on that one, Sam?
I believe that the tool does, and that we've tested it, but obviously you can build your own page. So if you want to put yellow writing on a green background, there isn't anything that we can do to stop that. But the tool itself, I believe, and I will double check this, Lucy, just with Matt, our designer, who's been working on all of this, just to confirm that is the case. But say we can't control what is put on the what is actually put on that page.
Yeah, I think that covers all of the questions in the chat. If we want to move on to some of the smaller enhancements.
Sure thing. Okay, so something that some of you will possibly use, some of you will possibly not even be aware of, is the function to do no apply jobs on your ATS. So this might be if you are advertising a post on behalf of somebody else, so maybe a school or maybe a different branch of your council or whatever it is, and it might be just kind of an expression of interest, or it might be just a general coming soon kind of advert, that kind of thing. You have the ability to make a job not applicable. No, that's not the word. You can't apply to it. So just to show you what that looks like, we've made a couple of edits to this and updates. So this is a permission that can be turned on in the background for you, again, free of charge. And it looks a little bit like this. So once it's turned on, you can prevent ATS applications by just ticking that tick box there. And it stops the apply for this role button being applied on a job advert. So essentially just kind of removes that. However, what some of you have told us is that you would like the ability to link to something else. So maybe somebody else's website or a different system or something like that to apply to. So what you can now do is you can add in a URL that will still enable that apply button on your job advert, but it takes you somewhere else. So it'll take you to a separate website or something like that. So you can pop in whatever you like there. That apply button then links through to somewhere else. If you don't want to put anything in there, you don't have to. you can just kind of enable the button, enable the Prevent ATS applications, and that apply option will just be taken away from you. If I just scroll down and save that, something else you can also do is use your talent search function. So previously, no apply jobs have not been able to be applied to wherever from. So from your side, from kind of externally. What you can now do, though, is you can apply candidates onto no apply roles if you wish. You can't invite them to do it. You have to physically apply them, and it's done through this invite to apply option. So if we just take Harry that we were just using before, we can go with the invite to apply option. And we can see that we've made that recruitment administrator role a no apply role. Now, that's obviously the role that we've just applied to, so we can't use that one. But we've got another one down here, adult carer. So if we tick that box, we can see we don't have the ability to invite the candidate to apply for that role, but we can apply them to that role if we wish. And it just sits them as an incomplete application in the new applicants bucket or stage, and sends a link through to them to say, hey, please can you continue your application and submit and everything through there. So if we click apply candidate there, just to show you what it looks like, we've got our adult carer, and we've got Harry sitting there as incomplete. So just as any other application, he would need to go in and complete that at his side. So that's that. Nice and simple, nice and easy. As I say, a lot of you might not even have been aware that you could do that. So hopefully that might open up some doors for you. Something else that we've also got the ability to do is report on these no apply roles. So within Insights, I forgot to open this up, so let me just get my authorization. I know you all love two-factor authentication. Where are we? There we go. Oh no, wrong one. There we go, perfect. So if you have put in a URL for somebody to apply, or you are using these no apply jobs, you can now report on them. So it's in your jobs little section, and you've now got a job visit section here. So there are 2 new reports in here that you can have a look at. So if we had a look at the job visits summary role, no, maybe not that one. Yesterday, was it? There we go. I knew I'd been playing around somewhere. So you can now see the candidate name. You can see the different statuses, which job it's against. And if we scroll further over to the right, we can see we've got things here. So all job views, job applications, job redirects. So this redirect is linking through to that URL that you're entering into those no apply roles. And you can see if any job applications have come onto the back of that. So you can see it from a candidate point of view, and I think you can just see it from a job role as well. So an overview, if you like. So you've got your job reference information in there. Again, if we scroll over to the right, all your bits and pieces related to jobs. But again, you've got your redirect and anything else linked to the job there. So hopefully that will now make lives a little bit easier for you. The final thing, just to talk you through, I don't think I've got a screenshot of this, unfortunately, is we launched Magic Links a few releases ago. And Magic Links gives you the ability to log into the system as a candidate, as an internal user, without the need to put in a password. So I think if you just log out there, we should be able to show you this. There we go. So you can log in with a Magic Link, and all you do is you pop in your email address. It sends you a link through to that email address, click on the link, and you're in, essentially. Now, a candidate can also do that, but something that they couldn't do up until now is add a CV on that initial registration page. So they could log into the system, but then they had to add in a CV later on. You will possibly know that under Register Now, you can upload a CV. So if you essentially this functionality has now been added to Magic Links as well. So candidates can upload a CV on this initial registration page without having to put in a password. They could just go through the Magic Links functionality. And I think that's it. Have I missed anything, Sam?
Sorry, I lost my mouse button. I lost my mouse and then the mute button. No, nothing that I can think of. I think just a bit of a aside on the apply a candidate. I don't believe the candidate gets an email.
Oh,
on
right.
the apply. I think what happens is that if you want to send I think this candidate would be perfect for this no apply role that's been sent into TriPad, then what you would do is you would apply it and it would be seen by the recruiter, but not by the candidate.
Fair enough. Apologies, got that bit wrong.
But other than that, no, I think that's everything.
Any questions, anybody?
Luke, I think you've covered them all, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just going back through the chat. I think there was one more that's just come in to say, if a candidate has opted out of being contacted, you cannot add them to other jobs. Can we remove the opt-in or out questions from the application process? So those questions, they are all set within Manage. I would recommend if you have any questions on what you would like to be shown on the application page or where those opt-ins are presented, if you do contact your account manager, we can have a quick discussion with you around that subject. But I think we've covered anything else. If anyone else has a quick question on any of those features, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or pop it in the chat for us to answer.
Guess not.
Doesn't look like anything else is coming in. So last chance if you'd like to ask a question. Else, we hope that you have enjoyed seeing all the features that we've added today. And I think, Sat, if you just want to go over how they're going to be added to customers' ATSs.
Sure. So adding new features is it's a bit like herding kittens, I've got to say. It's quite complicated because what works for one customer might not work for another. But obviously we want everyone to have the latest of our features, and we want to make sure that everybody's getting the best value they can out of the platform. So what we're going to be doing is you will have seen on the landing page that you used to sign up for this, there are opt-out options. Some of the things you would need to contact your account manager about or our support team. For the other features, what we're doing is we're going to put them on UAT 2 weeks after the release date. So you've got a couple of weeks to have a look, decide whether or not you want to opt out for now. And then 2 weeks after that is when we'll be doing the live perms. Now, funnily enough, the only one that we were actually going to be turning on in next week, it would be 2 weeks from the release, would be Date Gap, but we're going to delay turning that on for now. As I'm sure you're aware, there's a lot of configurations that can be done on your ATS, and a few issues have arisen when we've turned this on for some customers. So it's great. You can test things all you want in a testing platform, and the one that Sally's used, the one that I've got, but there are different combinations of different things that customers have got, and you can't account for everything. So what we're going to do is delay that by at least a further couple of weeks. So if you want to use the new Date Gap, then I would recommend getting in touch with the support team, and they'll be able to let you know when we can have this on UAT and then on live. This may not be, so the UAT first and live is just something else we're trying. We've tried delaying it by a month. We've tried turning things on the day. So what we're trying to do is find the best way to get things out to you without causing too much impact. And just a heads up on the November release, we won't be doing anything with the permissions then until the new year. So for any of our retail customers, for anyone in care and NHS and things like that, we know that the winter's your busy time. And what we don't want to do is make things complicated when things suddenly change for your managers just before that Christmas period. So anything then will be delayed until the new year.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining. And again, if you do have any further questions, do feel free to let your account manager know. After the webinar has concluded, we have been recording today, so the webinar will be available for you to re-watch on the same page that you have opted into the webinar on. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.